A YouTuber chooses to spend a night at a haunted house in the middle of nowhere. Things take an alarming turn when he encounters an evil ghost who tricks him into giving up his soul to her, binding him to the house. What starts off as a stunt for entertainment becomes a daunting and rather funny survival show. Sean is a problematic YouTuber famous for his stunts where he supposedly faces his fears. One of his videos resulted in a controversy, leading to him getting cancelled, thus resulting in the loss of his sponsors. Technically, he comes back after a sloppy, insincere apology to gain his fan base and sponsors back. This time, he returns with a big stunt where he will be spending a night alone at Death Manor, an allegedly haunted house where several people have died. As idiotic as it sounds, one can guess how stunts like these end. He also makes things more difficult for himself. If he doesn't explore the paranormal activities or ditches the stunt in the middle, he will not get paid by his sole sponsor. Now, why would someone go to such unhinged lengths for entertainment? Now that's a question for the ages. Sean shows up at the house at around 11 p.m., live streaming his stupidity for the internet to witness. He throws away his car's spark plugs into the woods, enters the house, and further discards the keys down a grate to stop himself from leaving if things were to take an adverse turn. And oh boy, do things take an ugly turn. All through the while, he reacts to the comments of the viewers. As he sets up the cameras in each room, he narrates to his viewers the history of the place. The Death Manor was built in 1880 by a wealthy Mormon pioneer for his outcast daughter, Mildred Pratt. Mildred was also a poet whose poems were rejected by the people of the town. This led her father to build her a house in hopes of getting her a husband. Stuck in the place for 8 years, writing romantic poems, she finally finds the love of her life named Lar, who was supposed to take her away to Boston. Things don't always go the desired way, unfortunately. Mildred doesn't get her happy ending since her lover mysteriously dies 2 days before they were supposed to leave. Grief-stricken, she hangs herself in the house. With a story this scary, the oblivious oaf should have just turned around and left when he had the chance. What he does instead is he invades the space and sets up cameras to tell the audience the rest of the story about ghost sightings after the death of Mildred and the uncountable deaths that have taken place in the house. He starts with the master bedroom, where in 1910, a man named Max Lowland wrote about his recurring dream about an apparition at the corner of the room. Sean calls him the Corner Man. There are also pieces of evidence of the spirit from other ghost hunters. For a moment, he's disturbed but proceeds to continue his setup in the other rooms. He recounts the story at the nursery where 5 children had allegedly met their sad demise. He also plays a video for his viewers as proof of his story. The string of deaths doesn't end here. There's also a record of a person's death in the bathtub. Additionally, the viewers see a video of ghost hunters evidently possessed by some unexplainable entity. Sean, who's also visibly bothered by the eerie atmosphere of the house, finds a room where no deaths have been recorded. He calls it the safe room and treats it as his home base. He finds a closet and decides to check it out just to be safe, and also for his innate nature to achieve the highest form of entertainment. In the closet, he finds a cryptic symbol and freaks out. He destroys it in a fit of panic. That's going to come back to bite him in the butt. Now, all the whole, he's communicating with his audiences, trying to grab their attention with his rather stupid antics. Some of the comments ask him to provoke the spirits and to cater to the dumb requests. As per their demands, he produces a wheel of activities to do in a haunted house. He spins the wheel and gets seance. Well, good luck to him. He chooses to perform the seance in the nursery and freaks out when he hears a loud cracking noise. He rushes back to his safe room and panics yet again. Among the confusion, his viewers start sending him a screenshot of a paranormal sighting in the hallway. Initially, he refuses to believe that it's really a ghost until he pulls up the video with the right timestamp. And lo and behold, it's really a ghost walking towards the bathroom. Sean realizes he's screwed. All blood drains from his face and he forgets the part of the deal where he has to check out the paranormal activities. Sadly, his viewers don't. They urge him to go explore the hallway and reluctantly he complies. He timidly assesses the area but bolts when he hears the faintest of sounds. He locks up the door of his supposed safe room to protect himself. That doesn't amount to anything when a random girl named Chrissy barges in, frantically screaming about being his fan. It turns out she has somehow tracked him through the little information he had provided. Surprisingly, Sean lets Chrissy stay when he notices the boost in engagements, and together they go in search of some ghosts. On Chrissy's demand, they go to the master bedroom to ghost hunt. Sean discovers a hidden basement behind the closet, and Chrissy excitedly proceeds to search for more clues. They come across an old box which has Mildred's diary of poems. Although Sean isn't a fan of the morbid poems, Chrissy seems more interested. She tries to make him read those, but he seems disinterested as they don't even rhyme. Chrissy is visibly upset at the comment but doesn't mention the poems anymore. Sean produces the wheel again, and this time Chrissy spins it. They get the spirit board, and Sean is screwed yet again. They conduct a ritual, and Chrissy makes Sean chant something in Latin. Previously, she tries to get him to read out Mildred's poems during the ritual, which Sean refuses to. After the ritual, they hear noises from outside the room. While Chrissy goes to examine the source of the sounds, Sean loses his calm when his viewers literally call him a coward. Now evidently pissed at Chrissy's intervention, he goes to search for his fan, but she's nowhere to be seen. He gets more and more agitated with each passing second, so when she finally shows up, he loses it and accuses her of being a stalker. Suddenly, she attacks him and bites his neck. Completely taken aback, he stabs her with a wooden stake and accidentally kills her. With 4.2 million witnesses to the abrupt crime, he apologizes frantically and decides to turn himself into the cops. More surprisingly and frankly concerningly, when he goes back to the hallway, Chrissy's body isn't there. It seems to have disappeared into thin air. Still not getting a hint after the bizarre events, he thinks she's still alive. Thankfully, he decides against trying to find her and locks himself in the safe room. But all of a sudden, he sees the hanging body of Mildred in the hallway through the cameras. Should have left when he had the chance. To make matters worse, he realizes through a video sent by his subscribers that the symbol he had initially destroyed was a protective symbol called Hamza to ward off evils from the house. Now he realizes that he's really, truly, utterly screwed. Despite the hopeless situation Sean has put himself in, the internet convinces him to go past Mildred and escape. He follows the advice but is obviously attacked by the evil spirit. They indulge in a grueling altercation, but he manages to get downstairs. But bad news awaits him when he discovers that the key under the grate is missing. Instead, he finds another key which opens a tiny box he and Chrissy had found in the hidden basement earlier. Upon opening it, he finally understands that Chrissy is actually Mildred. He also finds an old and disgusting severed finger. Now, without the key to the main door, he has to go back upstairs to find another way to escape the house. The internet asks him to jump out of the window of the nursery, but he's hesitant. Things don't look too good for him as the other spirits have been unleashed too. He's getting pitifully attacked in every room, and to add more insult to injury, a video from his subscribers informs him that the Latin phrase he had chanted resulted in the renunciation of his soul to the devil. In other words, he's stuck with Mildred forever. But before he could process his situation, the sinister spirit attacks him again, biting his thigh. With no other option, he jumps out of the window. His misfortune doesn't end there as he remembers that he has thrown away his spark plugs into the woods. Now wounded and stuck in the middle of the woods with a ghost in hot pursuit of him, he just whines about his bad choices. Just then, he is attacked by another spirit whom he had mistaken for a cop. He somehow gets away and hides in his car. Inside, he clicks another video sent by a subscriber whose grandmother had been the maker of the Hamza. She essentially reveals that he's in deep waters. Getting no benefit, he just decides on helping himself to get out of the mess. Luckily, he finds a ritual in Mildred's journal to reverse his powers and get his soul back. He also discovers that Mildred collects souls to create an audience for her poems, just like Sean, who does weird stunts to get an audience. Finding a similarity, he decides to end Mildred. Thus, he sets off to essentially cancel a 19th century ghost. He attacks the cop spirit with his potato gun and rushes inside the house again. This time he's more prepared. That is, he has a syringe full of holy water. He tries to bait Mildred, but it doesn't work. Instead, the poor man is attacked once again in the bathtub. He fights off the spirit and uses his holy water to kill it. Again. Now it's him versus Mildred. The internet helps him out with the Latin translation that he needs for the rituals while he makes the preparation. In a fit of emotions, he apologizes to his viewers for his insensitive and racist pranks for realsies. It's almost as if he knows he deserves the fate, and it's quite funny and pathetic to see the YouTuber like that. Moving on, he catches the ghost by attacking her somehow. He drags her in the middle of the symbol he has drawn and chants the translations out loud. Obviously, his plan doesn't work, and he's in turn ambushed yet again by Mildred. Sean fights with the spirit as he tries to think of another way to get rid of her. While Mildred is crawling her way to assault him again, he remembers the old woman from the video. He has only heard till the part where she asks him to sacrifice the flesh for the Hamza to work, and this pitiful man does exactly that. He butchers off his finger and spits some nonsense about his passion and authority, ultimately succeeding in throwing her spirit to hell. With 9 fingers and 5.8 million viewers, he is successful at spending a night at the Death Manor, or so he thinks, as he boasts about being the #1 live streamer yet again, completely forgetting about his idiotic stunts. He's surrounded by the other spirits of the house. While he screams into oblivion, the stream ends.